I am reading the Bible for the first time, and it is going to be surprising and confusing, and I just have an honest conversation about whatever I'm reading. So join me. Hopefully, you would like to learn or a different perspective for what's going on. Today's chapter is going to be Genesis 42. And as always, I do not know what's going on because I am reading the Bible from the beginning to the end. That's my goal right now. So, what do we have here? Genesis 42. Why is my desk kind of squeaky? That's not what we want. It's distracting. Genesis 42. Joseph's brothers go to Egypt. Oh, that's his brother. So I know he had a whole lot of brothers. Now I'm going to totally forget everything, so bear with me here. He had a whole bunch of brothers. I remember Joseph, he was sold into slavery from his brothers, and the oldest, Reuben, was the one who kept him from dying in the cistern, right? And then his other two didn't like him. So, all right, anyways, let's figure out where we go here. When Jacob heard that grain was available in Egypt, he said to his sons, "Why are you standing around looking at one another? I have heard there is grain in Egypt. Go down there and buy enough grain to keep us alive. Otherwise, we'll die." Jacob, for anybody who is just joining me, Jacob is Joseph's father. So Jacob had he had a lot of descendants, right? If I remember right. And Joseph was one of the youngest at the time. So Joseph's 10 older brothers went down to Egypt to buy grain. But Jacob wouldn't let Joseph's younger brother Benjamin go with them, for fear some harm might come to him. So Jacob's sons arrived in Egypt along with the others to buy food, for the famine was in Canaan as well. Oh, so I don't know where Canaan is. Somewhere near Egypt. That's what I'm assuming here. Since Joseph was governor of all Egypt and in charge of selling grain to the people, it was to him that his brothers came. When they arrived, they bowed before him with their faces to the ground. Oh, that was because Joseph, what was it, a couple of chapters back there, he had his dreams before Joseph had his dreams, and he told his brothers what his dreams were because the grains bowed down to him, and then something else bowed down to him as well. I don't remember, but the grains bowed down to him. So now we have his brothers bowing down to him for grain, and that was the reason why they wanted to kill him. They were just threw him in a cistern. They didn't like him, but now they actually are bowing down to him for grain. Wonder what that means. Like, my idea of reading through this presently is not to decipher the words to find direct meaning. Now, I leave that up to everybody always. For me, I'm reading the stories. That's what I want to do and understand, what's going on. But I am coming back around, to learning, and it's a lot of different people that we're learning here. So I am coming back around to seeing how the stories connect and where things go between, these chapters in each book. So I'll start that again. Since Joseph was governor of all of Egypt and in charge of selling grain to all the people, it was to him that his brothers came. When they arrived, they bowed before him with their faces to the ground. Joseph recognized his brothers instantly, but he pretended to be a stranger and spoke harshly to them. "Where are you from?" he demanded. Joseph did not want to give his brothers the time of day. I mean, he is technically a slave to the Pharaoh, essentially. Okay, so his brothers. "From the land of Canaan," they replied. "We have come to buy food." Although Joseph recognized his brothers, they didn't recognize him, and he remembered the dreams he'd had about them many years before. He said to them, "You are spies. You have come to see how vulnerable our land has become." "No, my lord," they exclaimed. "Your servants have simply come to buy food. We are all brothers. We are all brothers, members of the same family. We are honest men, sir. We are not spies." Brothers definitely, that's unfortunate. Their brothers don't even recognize their younger brother. Yes, you are, Joseph insisted. You have come to see how vulnerable our land has become. Sir, they said, there are actually 12 of us. We, your servants, are all brothers, sons of a man living in the land of Canaan. Our youngest brother is back there with our father right now, and one of our brothers is no longer with us. They're talking about him. Oh, okay. But Joseph insisted, as I said, you are spies. This is how I will test your story. I swear by the life of Pharaoh that you will never leave Egypt unless your youngest brother comes here. One of you must go and get your brother. I'll keep the rest of you here in prison. Then we'll find out whether or not your story is true. By the life of Pharaoh, if it turns out that you don't have a younger brother, then I'll know you are spies. Okay. I wonder why Joseph... Well, I'm just going to move on. I'm just thinking, like, why is Joseph being so mean to him? I mean, he does have the power. He did get sold off by his brothers. They were originally going to kill him. He has been a slave for a very long time. He's barely, 30 years old, so we have that too. So Joseph put them all in prison for 3 days. On the third day, Joseph said to them, I am a God-fearing man. If you do as I say, you will live. If you really are honest men, choose one of your brothers to remain in prison. The rest of you may go home with grain for your starving families. But you must bring your youngest brother back to me. This will prove that you are telling the truth, and you will not die. To this they agreed. Speaking among themselves, they said, clearly we are being punished because of what we did to Joseph long ago. We saw his anguish when he pleaded for his life, but we wouldn't listen. That's why we're in this trouble. Well, yeah. Didn't I tell you not to sin against the boy? Reuben asked. But you wouldn't listen, and now we have to answer for his blood. Reuben was the oldest that I remember. He's the one that saved him, basically. Of course, they didn't know that Joseph understood them, for he had been speaking to them through an interpreter. Wait. What? Let's back that up. So didn't I tell you not to sin against the boy? Reuben asked. You wouldn't listen, but now okay. Of course, they didn't know that Joseph understood them, for he had been speaking to them through an interpreter. Oh, so Joseph has been speaking a different language then. That's my understanding, if he's speaking with them as an interpreter. He had been speaking to them through an interpreter. Or he does know their language, but he's using an interpreter so that he can bring out their truth, essentially. That was good, hold a little back. Now he turned away from them and began to weep. When he regained his composure, he spoke to them again. Then he chose Simeon from among them and had him tied up right before their eyes. Oh, that's right, Simeon and Levi. I actually liked them because they defended their sister Dinah in the previous chapter when she was raped. But now, karma, I guess, kind of happens here. Joseph then ordered his servants to fill the men's sacks with grain, but he also gave secret instructions to return each brother's payment at the top of his sack. He also gave them supplies for their journey home. So the brothers loaded their donkeys with the grain and headed for home. But when they stopped for the night and one of them opened his sack to get grain for his donkey, he found his money in the top of his sack. Look, he exclaimed to his brothers, my money has been returned. It's here in my sack. Then their hearts sank, trembling. They said to each other, what has God done to us? When the brothers came to their father, Jacob, in the land of Canaan, they told him everything that had happened to them. The man who was governor of the land spoke very harshly to us. They told him, he accused us of being spies scouting the land, but we said, we are honest men, not spies. We are 12 brothers, sons of one father. One brother is no longer with us, and the youngest is at home with our father in the land of Canaan. Then the man who is governor of the land told us, this is how I will find out if you are honest men. Leave one of your brothers here with me and take grain for your starving families and go on home. But you must bring your youngest brother back to me. Then I will know you are honest men and not spies. Then I will give you back your brother, and you may trade freely in the land. As they emptied out their sacks there, each man's sack was the bag. Well, let me start that over. As they emptied out their sacks, there in each man's sack was the bag of money he had paid for the grain. Wow. So Joseph gave back the money? I mean, that's what we're understanding here. So as they emptied out their sacks, there in each man's sack was the bag of money he had paid for their grain. The brothers and their father were terrified when they saw the bags of money. Jacob exclaimed, "You are robbing me of my children. Joseph is gone, Simeon is gone, and now you want to take Benjamin. Everything is going against me." So Jacob is getting mad at his sons for that? "You are robbing me." Jacob exclaimed, "You are robbing me of my children." I guess he's talking to them, right? Then, I think Jacob, the father, is talking to Reuben. I'm kind of assuming, since Reuben's the oldest. Then Reuben said to his father, "You may kill my two sons if you don't bring Wait, what? Then Reuben said to his father, "You may kill my two sons if I don't bring Benjamin back to you. I'll be responsible for him, and I promise to bring him back." Oh, okay, so I was reading that right. Wow, so Reuben has his two sons, and he is saying to his father, Jacob, that he's going to take Benjamin to prove, and basically he's going to take Benjamin back so everything is okay and get Simeon back, and then they'll bring back Benjamin, and if he doesn't, then Jacob would be willing to kill his two sons. Ouch. Okay. That's a lot. "I'll be responsible for him, and I promise to bring him back." But Jacob replied, "My son will not go down with you. His brother Joseph is dead, and he is all I have left. If anything should happen to him on your journey, you would send this grieving white-haired man to his grave."